This is Surfside, Miami. This is apparently home to the, I think it's the biggest Jewish neighborhood in Miami, maybe even in Florida, I'm not sure. There's many apartments here, buildings, which is not very common in America. There are some areas which have lots of apartments, like particularly New York and big cities, so you get apartments. Generally people just live in massive houses, oversized houses made out of wood. But as we go down here, I'm just going to show you the building that was kind of, many people have never heard of Surfside, especially outside of the United States. This is the site of where the Surfside, the building, many Jewish people actually were living in the building. You can see on many of the names, Jewish sounding names, even from people in this particular building here. It reminds me of the 9/11 memorial, although obviously that was a tragedy on a much bigger scale. We're talking about 30 times the amount of victims there than they were here. And being that there was a terrorist incident, it's taken much more seriously. This is very sad because these people were just sleeping. They were inside their houses, inside their apartments. Sorry, they were, you know, I'm sure most of them were not even aware of the structural issues that was facing the building. This is the site. You see the foundations all ripped apart, people in their beds sleeping, and suddenly all the apartments just collapsed, and people presumably died from the rubble, being injured by the rubble or suffocating under some material. It's sad because you see the other buildings remain totally intact, and you know, I mean that makes it even more frightening because, you know, these people were kind of picked, you know, to be in this disaster in a way, out of the whole Miami. In fact, the whole United States, I've never heard of a building of this size collapse in such a way. I presume there were more than 98 people in the building at the time, so I presume there were some survivors. But 98 people in one night in one building to die is pretty serious. So this is kind of like, I guess this is the car park for the building trucks, for the repair people. I'm just going to get some water from the water machine. This is vital in Miami, even after 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Now it's like 6:30 and it's still pretty warm. Like, it's a lot cooler. I didn't go in the water because the waves are quite tough and there's no lifeguard at the moment, and I'm by myself, so I wouldn't do that. It's pretty good, this. Wow, I'm not sure how cold it is. It's not very cold, no. It's just basically hydration rather than cooling. Let's try it. Very warm water, but at least you get hydrated, which is vital in this tropical, it's not even Mediterranean, it's more than Mediterranean, it's like tropical. We're like, what, 50 miles from the Bahamas, 60 miles from the famous Bahamas Islands, which is kind of hard to believe. I'd say it's probably the closest, you know, western point to these exotic islands of Maldives, Bahamas. I mean, I know they're obviously in totally different parts of the world, but you know, that pristine blue sea, and you know, the holiday feeling of these resorts. So yeah, this gets you to the main road. The main road takes you like all the way up to Fort Lauderdale from Miami. Miami's huge. Like, even Miami Beach, when you look on the map, I thought it was like 3-4 miles. But it's a lot more. It's more like 10 miles. And the roads are wide, like 3 lanes on each side, so 6-lane roads. It's like, it's not at all what I was expecting. I thought, yeah, I'll just go up. I'll go to Boca Raton, I'll go up here, I'll go up there. I'm all in the same part of Florida. It's massive. It really is. So, yeah, it's a totally different type of beach holiday experience than in Europe. a lot more driving, a lot more, walking around. So it's a new experience. Someone coming from Europe, this place, yeah. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. I wouldn't say it's worth coming over here from Europe, unless you want to have a nice kosher experience with minyanim and everything. This is the perfect place because you've got plenty of minyanim, you've got plenty of kosher food and restaurants, which is quite rare in the world outside of Eretz Yisrael. So I would highly recommend this place for a Jewish traveler. And there's nice learning rooms as well in the big Chabad center. There's like a big Chabad center where you can learn, and there's shiurim as well, and there's a couple of minyanim. There's a Sephardi shul as well connected to the main shul. So it's a very big community here living.